What's up, everyone? It's Tyler from Jump In Real Estate, and I wanted to give you a quick little rundown of the free rental property calculator we have here that's offered on the website. So once you download it, again, after you put in your email address, you'll get an email with the actual link to download this Excel sheet. And the first thing you'll notice is there are a couple tabs here on the bottom, a few color-coded cells here that'll help you actually analyze property. Now, the first thing I want you to do is take a look at this yellow box down here. It's got kind of the three steps that you need to take to actually analyze the properties. So, step one, fill in the blue boxes with applicable information. Do not touch anything else. So that's very specific there. There are formulas in here, so we don't want you kind of messing around with the formulas unless you are a little more advanced on the Excel side of things. But to make things really simple, I've highlighted the boxes in blue that need to be actually manipulated by your specific numbers. Again, back to these two tabs here. The first tab is a sample property. It's actually one of my properties that I currently own. The second tab is the actual calculator that you can use, and it's just kind of a blank palette here for you to enter information. So going through the sample property real quick, I'll give you a couple notes here. So top left corner, we have kind of the basic financials, purchase price, monthly rent, and renovation costs. That's obviously going to come down to what you decide to buy the property for and how much you think you can get in rent, and then also gauging kind of that renovation slash make ready expense as well. To the right hand side, we have our loan terms. So if you are buying with leverage and through a bank giving you a loan, this is where you'll need to enter in your specific information. So I typically get a 30-year loan. The last interest rate I got was for my property in July of 2018. I was getting 5.25% on that loan. Things probably have changed since then. This box right here, type in your down payment percentage. So my lender requires 25% for any out-of-state rentals, and that populates the actual amount in this box here. Don't touch that, but just touch the blue boxes again. Last piece of advice here on the upper portion of the calculator is understanding your closing costs. Now, those generally range between 2% to 5%. You can find that information out from your lender generally. So it does kind of vary there, but I plug in my closing costs right there. Now on to kind of the fun part as well is kind of really seeing what your cash on cash return is, what the cap rate is, what the cash flow is specifically as well. This is kind of where you're going to see and if this is a good investment or not. So hopping over here, again, this is for a financed purchase on this side. We do have an all cash kind of calculations over here, but touching the blue boxes only again, you'll type in your annual taxes. So this is again for the 12-month period. 12-month period, annual taxes, boom, right there. Type in your annual insurance costs. So I use State Farm. Obviously, there's a number of insurance companies out there, local and national as well. So I'm at 726. This is where you can kind of adjust things as well, depending on how conservative you want to be on some of the quote-unquote backup reserves. So I generally use 5% vacancy, 10% for repairs, and 10% for my property manager. Now, some people are definitely more conservative in this area where they might bump this up to 15%. They might bump this to 7%. Obviously, that affects your numbers. It comes down to just what you're comfortable with. If you want to be more conservative, find a better deal. That's going to get you a better return. This is kind of where I stand, and again, I'm still no expert. Been doing this for a couple of years now, but this is the numbers that I kind of have been running with so far. This last box down here is if you are part of an HOA. So one of my properties is actually part of an HOA, so I did throw that in. If you're buying a single family home, it's probably not going to have an HOA, but obviously keep that in mind when it comes to monthly expenses or annual expenses. So all this kind of adds up and gets you your final total monthly expenses. $1397.94 is what I'm at with my monthly rent at 1725. That provides me with a cash flow of 327, um, which in my mind is pretty good. That's typically if you're buying multifamily, according to Bigger Pockets, and again, this is from Bigger Pockets, you want at least $100 per door. So I'm getting that for sure. My cap rate is 7.5, and my cash on cash is almost 8.5. Now this is, depending on the property you're buying. I'll say this is a B class neighborhood, so I'm happy with these numbers. You could definitely get a higher cash on cash if you probably went to a more of a C class neighborhood, but I'm more comfortable with the B class. So an 8.5% cash on cash in the B class neighborhood for me is what I kind of target right now. Um, and that's kind of really it. This is again more of a simple type of spreadsheet and calculator for you to use. I definitely have more advanced ones as well. And if you're interested in those, let me know. I can shoot you over a couple samples. Here's my email address down here. It's jumpinrealestatenow@gmail.com if you're interested about maybe some other types of calculators. But this is kind of the first one that got me started. It's pretty simplistic. Again, it has the purchase price, rent, renovation costs, loan terms, and then the really basic expenses that you're going to need to take a look at and run into when analyzing property. Last piece is back over on this right hand side. If you were to do an all cash purchase, this is going to factor in your projected cash flow. Again, that's clearly without any mortgage, and your expenses are way down with an all cash purchase. Cash flow jumps way up as well. So that's not a bad cash purchase cash flow. If you can get $981 a month, that's a nice little chunk of change there. Again, that would be all cash though of $158,000. So depends on if you have that type of capital and want to deploy it. But so that's really it. Again, step one, fill in the blue boxes, pretty easy. Step two, analyze your results. Really know what your criteria is when it comes to cap rate and cash on cash and cash flow. And then last step is if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me here. I can take a look at your numbers, make sure everything's adding up correctly, and just give you a quick little analysis and snapshot of what I think of your numbers. That's really it. So thanks again for watching. Again, this is Tyler from Jump in Real Estate. Hopefully you enjoy and can use this calculator for your future purchases. And best of luck.